Long ago, in the great kingdom of Ifeoma, King Obidike ruled with wisdom and peace. His palace was known for its beauty. Tall palm trees swayed around it, and the sound of drums echoed every morning as the people sang praises to their beloved king. One day, a stranger named Okochukwu arrived at the gates of the palace. He claimed to be a traveler seeking work and food. The king, being a man of kindness, welcomed him. "No man should sleep hungry under my rule," King Obidike said with a smile. He gave Okochukwu a small room inside the palace and made him one of his housemates, in charge of taking care of the royal gardens. At first, Okochukwu was humble and hardworking. He bowed deeply whenever he saw the king and always spoke softly. The king's servants began to trust him. But deep in Okochukwu's heart, there was darkness. He wasn't just a traveler, he was a jealous man who once served under another king but was cast out for stealing. When he saw the wealth of King Obidike, he whispered to himself, "One day, this palace will be mine." Okochukwu's new life in the palace was filled with comfort. He ate good food, wore fine clothes, and people greeted him with smiles. But instead of peace, envy began to grow inside him like a weed choking a garden. Every morning, he watched King Obidike walk through the courtyard surrounded by loyal servants and smiling children. The people bowed, calling out. Okochukwu clenched his fist behind his back. They sang his name, not mine. What makes him better than me? He began to avoid others, hiding behind the tall palm trees. He whispered to himself at night, his voice low and trembling with anger. "If the king were gone, who would rule? I would. The people already like me." One evening, while walking through the palace corridors, Okochukwu met Chinonso, another servant known for his honesty. Chinonso smiled. "Brother Okochukwu, you seem troubled these days. Is all well?" Okochukwu forced a grin. "I'm only tired from work, my friend." But that night, as Chinonso passed by Okochukwu's room, he heard a whisper through the door. "The king sleeps too peacefully. Soon, I will take his crown. The gods shall see me rule." Chinonso's heart pounded. He pressed his back to the wall, trying not to breathe. Fear gripped him. Should he tell the queen or stay silent? He knew the king loved Okochukwu like a son, and if he spoke wrongly, it could cost him his life. He ran to his small bed, trembling, whispering to himself. "The gods must guide me or blood will be spilled in this palace." Outside, the moon shone cold and bright as if watching the darkness grow inside Okochukwu's heart. That night, the palace was quiet. The drums had stopped, and even the crickets seemed to hold their breath. Okochukwu walked silently through the corridor, a dagger hidden beneath his robe. His shadow danced along the walls like a restless spirit. He stopped before the king's chamber. From inside came the soft breathing of a man deep in sleep. He pushed the door open, step by step, his bare feet making no sound on the smooth floor. "My king," he whispered to the sleeping figure, "you gave me life, now I will take yours." The dagger gleamed under the faint moonlight. He raised it high. But before the blade could fall, strong hands grabbed him from behind. Guards tackled him to the ground, forcing the dagger from his grip. The metal clattered loudly across the floor. King Obidike woke up, startled. "What is happening here?" The queen rushed in with Chinonso beside her. Chinonso pointed, trembling. "My king, forgive me, I heard his plan. I told the queen. He came to kill you tonight." The king turned to Okochukwu, his eyes full of disbelief. "You? The one I trusted most?" Okochukwu broke down, tears streaming down his face. "I was jealous, my king. You had everything. I wanted the crown. I wanted what was never mine." The king looked at him silently for a long moment, then said in a quiet, heavy voice, "When kindness is given to a wicked heart, it becomes a weapon. You have destroyed yourself." The guards dragged Okochukwu away as dawn broke, his cries echoing through the palace. At sunrise, the courtyard of Ifeoma was filled with people. Word had spread that a servant tried to kill the king. The crowd murmured, their faces a mix of anger and sadness. Okochukwu was brought out in chains, his head bowed low. The once proud man now looked like a shadow of himself. The king stepped forward, dressed in white, his voice calm and firm. "People of Ifeoma," he began, "let this be a lesson. When envy enters the heart, it blinds the eyes and poisons the soul. I gave this man food and a home. In return, he planned my death." He turned to Okechukwu. "You are banished from Ifeoma forever. You will walk the land with your guilt until the gods decide your fate." The guards opened the gates and pushed him out. As Okechukwu stumbled away, he looked back one last time. The palace that once gave him hope now stood tall and unreachable, a place he could never call home again. Chinonso stepped forward and bowed to the king. "Your Majesty, I only did what was right." The king smiled faintly. "You have saved not just my life, but the peace of this kingdom. The gods will bless your honesty." As the crowd cheered, the drums began to play again. But deep inside the king's heart, he carried a quiet sorrow, the kind that comes only from betrayal. He who lets jealousy rule his heart becomes an enemy to his own peace. Trust is like glass once broken, it never shines the same again. Kindness is a gift, but wisdom must guard it. The sun beat harshly over the dry paths as Okechukwu walked alone, his feet blistered and his throat dry. The once proud palace servant was now a wanderer, a man without a home, without peace, without a name. His robe, once fine, was torn by thorns and dust. The jingling of the chains around his wrist echoed like the sound of his guilt. For days, he wandered through. Not for war or warning but for peace and remembrance. He who betrays goodness destroys himself. Envy is a slow poison that kills before death comes. When trust is broken, it cannot be mended, but forgiveness brings peace. A grateful heart lives longer than a jealous one. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for our YouTube channel for more.